What's up, everybody? It's Dominic DeAngelo of SEScoops.com, adfreeshows.com. It is One of a Kind with RVD, and we're live on RVD's YouTube channel with guess who? RVD. Rob, how are you, dude?
Excellent, dude. Fantastic.
That's great to hear, and it's super nice in Las Vegas and super horrible in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So,
It's 75. I'll be wiping sweat off my forehead as we pod today.
Hey, there we go. Well, guys, we're live. So if you want to get a question in here, feel free to use the super chat. If you definitely want your question answered, I'll always keep looking at the chat here. We have a couple already in the queue, so we'll be queuing those up here pretty quick. But Rob, how's the week been? How's everything been so far?
It's been good. It's been really busy, dude. Juggling a lot of things as far as filling up my calendar with bookings and things of that nature. Also working on a couple of things that could be really big, and so I'm excited as always. I remain optimistic because life is awesome, and I'm always excited that tomorrow I'm going to be more grown than I am today, and I'm always right about that. So everything is damn fine.
Damn fine. Well, hey, Andrew Reed, thank you for the $10. He does ask if you felt damn fine about winning. How did you feel when you won the TNA World Championship? It's a huge accomplishment to you, like the TV and WWE title was. You don't talk about beating AJ Styles too much. Rob, what were your thoughts on winning the TNA World title?
Yeah, it was awesome because at that time TNA was being talked at as another option, an alternative place to work that could possibly take care of you so that you're making a comparable amount of money or whatever. People were throwing numbers around. Kurt Angle's already down there, and so I wanted WWE that before would have felt stuck, started saying, hey, screw this. I don't have to be here. I'll just go to TNA. And that kind of became a bit of the mindset. Not that they would take everybody, but for a minute there, it almost did seem like they were taking anybody. And so when I got there, it was because, I had a good deal that was worth it. And so it was, after being in WWE for so long, and swimming in a new pond, and I felt, like my career, my name, my efforts, everything that I have done earned me some leverage, at least in the boss's eyes. At the time, it was Eric Bischoff and Hogan, and that made me feel like they were really behind me. I won 2 matches that night because it was like a tournament. So I wrestled Jeff Hardy, beat him, and I know he's like one of the most over baby faces there. And then wrestled AJ Styles, beat him, and so I thought that's a really good way to be presented if you want to be, over, and pretty good push, unlike my very first night in when I got death by 1,000 baseball bat stings. And that was something people always remember as being kind of weird, but not too long into it, boom, I captured the TNA Heavyweight Championship. And so I felt like, cool, like maybe, a lot more here in this pond than I did in the other one. I don't know. But, also one thing I remember about it is that Eric Bischoff didn't seem too impressed with AJ. I remember before going out there, I just remember Eric saying, I would just boom, like make it really short and quick, bam, 5-star frog splash in the middle of the ring, and it sounded like he was just wanting me to squash the dude, which of course I didn't want to do.
Mhm.
He was very talented, and we had a lot of matches together, which were really good. A lot of them that were on the road and not on TV. And unfortunately, my back was hurt for almost my entire TNA run. So matches like that might not have lived up to AJ's fantasies, watching me thinking, or when he was coming up in the business, being inspired by RVD, was let's just go ahead and say we know that he was, everybody was. And so, there's a few times like that. Same with Teddy Hart. When I wrestled Teddy Hart in a single match one time, like I felt like I was hurt, and I'm not known to have crappy matches, and so of course it wasn't. But I think in his mind, just like with AJ's, they're probably thinking like a fantasy match. Like, whoa, if I had RVD in the ring, man, we would have a 6-star match. And they're thinking, that. But really, I mean, I'm not part of the new age. Let's take 1,000 pile drivers and stand up for a sidekick and stand up, for a DDT anyway. And that's a lot of what the new guys are doing. So I don't know in that way that it would have matched up anyway, but could have definitely had more memorable and standout-ish matches had we both been healthy at the same time. So that's what I think about when I think about being a TNA heavyweight champion. And I remember, they would do meet and greets every night.
Yeah.
So in the ring, I would have the belt and always, of course, put it on the shoulder of the fans or whatever. But every night. So a lot of fans have pictures with them holding or wearing the TNA Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I remember, they would come to house shows and do live, shows and stuff like that. I went to the one in Johnstown and stuff, and that was always a big aspect of it. Oh, go and meet somebody in the ring, get a photo op or whatever. But to your point, yeah, you winning that title, when I watched it, I remember feeling like, man, this is further validating TNA, moving forward, because you got you're still in your prime and you're still a champion that can really help carry a company and stuff like that. So it felt like a really, really great time to tune into TNA and see all that stuff happening, and a lot of promise and stuff. And just the younger talent that was there at the time, like Samoa Joe or AJ Styles, or you kind of name it. It was like a good blend of veterans and the younger guys that you wanted to see kind of further develop and stuff like that. And AJ's still doing it at a high level too, which is pretty cool.
They just started going live, I think, shortly before I got hired on, and they were trying to compete, with the live wrestling show. I think they started on Monday night and then moved to a different night, if I remember right. And so they were really, really trying to do something, so I felt good that they saw me as being an important weight in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was pretty cool. It was it was a letdown ultimately, because it seemed like their money wasn't focused on the right things sometimes, where they would go to these live shows, but they weren't really well promoted. It seemed like that a lot of the times. It was just kind of like an afterthought in certain ways. And I think it was a big expense for them a lot of the times to kind of do that too. So, but yeah, it was, I really enjoyed that title run for sure. It really kind of added a new level, I would say, to TNA at the time. Cool. Well, what else I wanted to kind of mention too was I forgot to do this last week, was this day in history kind of thing. And this one's a pretty significant one. 25 years ago was Living Dangerously, where you took on Jerry Lynn. And it was, let me pull up the details of the match here, but it was let's see. Yes, Rob Van Dam defeated Jerry Lynn, Living Dangerously, from the Convention Center in Asbury Park, New Jersey, to retain the ECW World Television Championship. Originally, Lynn had the match and the title won via referee's decision after the time limit expired. But Lynn asked for 5 more minutes overtime to determine a clear winner, and it did not go in his favor. Do you remember any memories from that match, Rob?
Not specifically. I just remember it was in a continuous line of me progressively enjoying working with Jerry more and more and feeling like we were bettering ourselves and bettering the match every time, just based on the competitive spirit that we both had, and I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's such a great rivalry, historic rivalry in wrestling and in ECW. Is there another like kind of rivalry that didn't involve you but was in ECW that really stood out to you as like, man, that's a real highlight kind of match and rivalry for what ECW was?
Well, for the rivalry, I think of maybe like Raven and Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
That was something that, I mean, me and Sabu might have just dipped in and out, maybe, but that was, for the most part, that whole storyline was like a different part of the show. And so I wasn't paying that much attention. But when I would look at it, then they're talking about who's the daddy of the baby or abortions or I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
And I was seeing that the fans were really into it too. So I was like, okay, I'm learning what ECW is all about. And that takes me way back to then.
Yeah. Since WrestleMania's in Philly and stuff like that, and it's kind of, we're getting closer and stuff like that. Do you feel, is there kind of like a cool excitement? Like, oh, it's going to be a neat kind of atmosphere being there. And like, is it kind of reality almost kind of setting in, or are you kind of just used to, it's just another appearance and it'll be cool to be a part of all this experience? How are you feeling about WrestleMania moving up here with Philly?
It's going to be a really busy week, and it keeps getting busier. I just had to add a day onto my week last night.
Ooh.
And if you go to robvandam.com, I got all my appearances up there, and I will continue to do that as I get posters and stuff. I have dates, for the end of the year that I haven't put on, just I don't have posters yet. And then maybe or maybe not, I'll just put the towns so people can, but I don't want people to start asking, hey, where in Atlantic City are you coming? When are you going to be? It's because I don't know that stuff either. I just know that I'm booked. But Philly's awesome. That's my hometown, one of them, so I'm looking forward to being there. It's been, somebody reached out. Asked if I was interested in doing the Marlino podcast.
Oh, nice.
That'd be awesome. But he does it in Florida, but I guess he goes back and forth sometimes. So I don't know if they meant that week necessarily. I thought they did, but I got to go back and read the details to see if it, if it says that. But anyway, as of now, besides being a WrestleCon every morning from 10 o'clock until 2 in the afternoon every day. Then let's see, Thursday I have the match at the ECW arena. I'm wrestling Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah.
Friday is the block party at the ECW arena. Maybe Hall of Fame too. I don't know. Saturday I am doing a dispensary, an appearance at Indigo Dispensary in New Jersey. I think it's Brooklawn is the name of the town. And Sunday I have a watch along where I'm watching some of the pay-per-view, I guess, with some people, and I'm trying to squeeze in a whole bunch of stuff around all of that. So it's going to be a really busy week.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, I'm looking right now, Rob. Yeah, you got a stacked deck. The block party meet and greet is Friday, April 5th, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the ECW Arena. The Battleground Championship Wrestling presents that. So block party meet and greet. And then, yeah, your match against Speedball Mike Bailey is the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show, April 4th at 7 p.m. So, guys, if you're in the Philly area, definitely looking to getting a hold of some tickets and seeing Rob and having a good old time. That's gonna be a heck of a match. You and Mike Bailey, I tell you what.
That's what they say.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I saw him wrestle Dax Harwood, WrestleCade at WrestleCade a couple years back, and they went 30 minutes, and it was an intense fight. Very different from what you usually see. So I can only imagine what you two are going to do. It's going to be good stuff, man.
I'm feeling good. I was thinking it's funny because it sounds cliche, when people say I'm in the best condition of my life, the best shape of my life. But a lot of people would say, looking at me like, whoa, he is in the best condition of his life. Respectively, I am, because I ain't never had veins popping out like they do now, and just overall, had this physique that I see right now, and for a lot of reasons, but I'm comfortable. I'm feeling good, and so because of that, I'm going with the flow. I'm taking matches. I have a few other ones besides that one that aren't that week, but also that week I do have business meetings and stuff, and we're going to be launching something really soon in the way of glass and paraphernalia and RVD.
Ooh.
Yep. So I might introduce you to some partners there when I see you at WrestleCon or throughout the week.
Yeah. That'll be great stuff, man.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. What else did I want to ask you about here? We had we've talked about John Laurinaitis before. I was going to save this for a little later on, but apparently he waived his right to get served papers. So what that means, in according to PWI Insider or Pro Wrestling Insider, that means he has to respond by after 60 days of March 15th about what he's going to do in court and stuff like that when it comes to all the Vince McMahon things. So
in other words, instead of receiving the papers, he hasn't received them, and so it's going to time out to where he has to respond, or they could rule against him.
Right. So here, this is what I'll pull up the quote here. It says former WWE exec John Laurinaitis filed a waiver of service yesterday before the United States.
A waiver of service
before the United States District Court of Connecticut. He said, it says basically Laurinaitis has informed the court that he is aware of the lawsuit Janelle Grant, the alleged victim, had filed against him and others. He is waiving that he needs to be served with the lawsuit personally, and has attested that he will respond within 60 days of March 15th. So he's already 6 days in here before he needs to give a response. So some interesting developments there, I guess. But yeah, it's just a wild situation. I'm curious what more will come out about it. And, hopefully everything gets leveled out here, because it's just nuts, man.
I never heard of that, a waiver of service. I thought you just had to not answer the door, or just not.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Just because you always see in the movies, somebody will be like, "Hey, you got papers," and then they're run away.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been there.
Have you? Oh, yeah, that's right. Jeez, oh man. Ugh. We do have a super chat here. Thank you, Digital Architect 999. He says, "What's up, Rob and Dom? Hope you're all doing great. My question is, what was Vince's reaction to you smoking weed? I'm grateful he didn't give you a cheesy stoner character like he did Riddle." What was his reaction? Because Vince is always like, "Oh, about the body," and all that kind of stuff, and has his own mindset about things.
I'm trying to think if I ever had the conversation, and I don't think I've ever talked to him ever about smoking.
Yeah?
No, not that I can remember. One time I brought it up, but then I shut the window on it immediately. And this is part of a much bigger story. But it was at a point where I was adapting to the new waters of WWE, the political atmosphere, people stooging on me for smoking. It ended up, Johnny Ace said one time, he said, "Hey, Robbie, Vince is going to want to talk to you on Monday. Somebody said that you're smoking weed during TV days. I'm not saying you are. You probably are, but I'm not saying that. But and you know, he's going to want to talk to you about that. And I was like, I had so much on my mind that I needed to get off. So I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to him. You know, and so much. Man, that's weird. I guess Barbie would be reacting if that was a car. I thought I heard a car.
Oh, really?
Must not have. Barbie's ears are better than mine. Anyway, when I got to TV, and I had a feeling like I don't think Vince is going to want to talk to me about that. You know, I mean, if I'm in his position, I have so many layers to protect me from having to do certain things, and one of those things would be having to publicly know, like having to admit that he knows, you know, like for him in his position, he'd be better off if he didn't ever have to know for sure that RVD smokes weed. And if I have that conversation with him and I'm like, yeah, I smoke, boom, 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 boom. Well, I think that would put him in a position because now he's got information that could, you know, potentially come back as libelous to him. And that's just how I've always felt about it. He's not going to want to talk to me and not want to confront that at all. But I was so frustrated that I made sure he confronted me. We had the talk anyway, and I waited outside his door, and I had something else going on. And I kept going back and forth and kept going back to the door and waiting from the room he was in. And Michael Hayes said finally, like, Rob, did you want to talk to Vince? I was like, yeah, I do. That would be great. He goes, well, let me go in there and see if he can talk to you. He went in, came out, said, go ahead. And I went in there and I had a lot of stuff that I was frustrated on. So I like let it off my chest is what I did. Right. Mm-hmm. And I brushed that and then just went right by it. You know, I said, hey, you know, Johnny told me that you were going to want to talk to me because somebody said that I'm smoking weed and getting high during TVs. And he went, actually, Rob, and then I just, you know, raked his eyes and just kept right over it and said, you know, that's so typical that somebody would be stooging me off because they can't handle the fact that I'm getting over here doing it my way and a legitimate tough guy. So the APA can't go out there and just power bomb them like it looked like they were doing as a shoot at that time. I don't know if they were or not, but I know that was on my mind. Anyway, that's just a little piece of a much bigger story. And that's the only time I think I remember ever even having pot in the conversation with Vince.
Yeah. Man, yes, that kind of aspect of I bet that had to feel good though whenever you had those opportunities to be like, I got a lot of shit I want to say and get off my chest when it comes to that stuff.
It wasn't often, 2 or maybe 3 times while I was there, and they were all pretty pivotal in my stress levels.
Yeah. I could imagine that. I could definitely imagine that. Yeah, and when you don't get those opportunities and you want to say something, you have an itch to say something, it's just like, I
couldn't wait to talk to him. And
right.
You know, some other issues I had to take care of that day too.
Yeah, nice, man. Seth chimes in. Thanks for the $20, Seth. He says, I want to shout out Katie for showing my love to music on Instagram. I got a new one out called Find Out. RVD, question. Your gimmick and real life personality seem like one and the same. Do you act any differently at all when you're on camera in comparison to, you know, just being RVD off camera?
Right. Well, it's a little different. And thank you for the donation and fix that fucking song, dude. YouTube Chris said he didn't get a link. Did you say you sent a link to him?
Oh no, I think what you need to do, Seth told me that we need to what he has to do is
we need to dispute the copyright claim.
Dispute the claim, and then he'll get a notification on his end. Seth will, and he can refute the claim and then clear it off for us. I think.
But we have to first enter a dispute.
There has to be something where you have to like appeal it or something like that on the channel. I think.
Got you. Probably on the email that said we're flagged or whatever.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Or sometimes too, I know in the YouTube studio, they'll be like, hey, there's like a little yellow notification or something typically that'll you got to click on and go through the process of doing that. So it might be something to that effect. Seth can even probably give us more details, I'd imagine too. So
Nice. So, I would put it this way: my morals, my values, my priorities are different when I'm the character RVD. I want to kick ass. I'm going to accept a challenge. I'm egocentric. Like showing off, and I would say that all of that is a side of me, but normally I don't act that way. It's not, those things aren't important to me. Showing off, having everyone's attention in the room when I'm not working and I don't have it turned on and it's turned off. And if I'm not doing a podcast or answering a question or in the state of mind of thinking this person actually wants to hear what I have to say, then I really don't talk very much. I'm silent a lot of the times. And, Katie will check on me sometimes just to make sure I'm not in a bad mood or whatever. Just a happy little, love you, baby. Love you, baby. I stay in my head a lot and I think a lot. And that's different because RVD, in the ring is the whole effing show. There's not that much difference because I wouldn't say the personality isn't that much different. Just that I think I'm a lot more of an inner, where when I turn it on, boom, now it's about bam, being an outer. So that's the best way that I think I can explain it. And by the way, I've talked about this so many times. I don't want to tell the whole story, but WWE used to always want to make me angry, but I don't get angry. Angry is a boom. I've lost the battle. If I get angry, I've lost the battle within myself. You know what I mean? I can't let emotions take over. That's not cool. And I wouldn't want kids watching me to take after that. I'd want them to know how I really feel about anger. They thought the money was in anger, and Johnny would suggest some things. There was a point with Jerry Lawler where he would just get angry and he would just boom, he'd take off like that one strap, and then you knew it was on. Like he was not playing games, and maybe like, I don't know if it's throw the ponytail out. It's probably not that, but something like if you could find something. And, and they always wanted to push my buttons. I've told this story so many times, but I'll see if I can say it real quick in one breath here. But one day I'm working with Chris Jericho, and all day long they're on me. Remember, anger, anger. Think of something that makes you mad. Get angry. I'm like, okay, fuck off. I can do it. And they're on Chris all day. See if you can make him angry. Like when you're out there, like try and like really poke him. Like we want to get this out of him. Like no one's seen an angry RVD, and they thought that's where the money is. And I was like, dude, I'll act like I'm angry. Shut the fuck up. And I was getting really pissed because they kept on all day trying to make me pissed. And then right before I go out there, Chris is out there in Gorilla, not out there yet, but on his way out, he says, remember, be angry. I said, duh. Oh, what was it? Angry or happy? Duh. I forgot, and he's like, not really, but I'm thinking that, like, yeah, anger. Yeah, I'll remember. And he said, just act like I hit on bitch face. He said the name thou shalt not be spoken out of my mouth, my evil ex. and he said, just act like I hit on her. And I just thought that was like so unnecessary. And I was already simmering, ready to boil. And man, he's out there doing a promo or something. I ran out there. Bam, bam. I was so pissed. I'm just punching him in the face. Bam, he goes down. I jump up, do the frog splash. Boom, I grab. He was the heavyweight champion at the time, and I was. They wanted me to cover him and do my own count after the frog splash, and I was too pissed. I forgot to even count. I just fucking bam, I hit him with a splash. Sit up. I think I just like dropped the belt on him or whatever, and I left, and I was in such a rotten mood. I did not tell this story in one breath at all.
That's all right.
It's almost over.
It's a good story,
I
though.
was so pissed. Yeah, I had to leave in my gear, not even get dressed in the locker room. I was so frustrated. I fucking left, got in my car, drove in my RVD gear to the hotel, and it was like the next morning is some time before I finally was able to find my balance again. I don't have a wide range of emotion. It's not easy for me to change from first gear to fifth gear and back down again like a lot of people do. And so that's another reason that I hate, and Katie hates, if I ever do get mad, because it takes forever, it seems like, for me to calm down again.
Yeah, the money definitely wasn't in an angry RVD, I don't think, because you already showed like intensity in the ring. Like
they wanted an angry RVD and a talking Sabu.
Yeah, no, because even last week, that's what we talked about, was a talking Sabu, and Sabu's Air of Mystery was cool because he didn't talk.
I think so.
That's what was cool. That was what was cool, and it was cool that you were cool. Like, it wasn't like you getting mad was. Everybody gets mad. Like, you see everybody else get mad in the ring, and straps go down or whatever, and that's what made you different about it.
Dude, that you just made me think about this horrible day for me when Kane had me tied up and set me on fire after he had his mask off. And oh my God, I could not reach Bruce Pritchard's standards of being scared and in fear. Like, they wanted me to scream like I'm a fucking scream princess in a horror movie. I don't know, but when I kept being like, stop it, what are you doing? Whatever I was doing, they just kept, no, cut, it's the shits. God, we need you, like you're about to die. He's got, and I'm just like, yeah, I get it. I'm trying. But anyway, that was such a horrible day. People probably remember the version of it that finally came out. But man, I felt insulted. I was like, he goes, Rob, you're acting, well, it's the shits. And I always think about that, I remember him saying that. And they talked to him on his podcast about it. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, YouTube Chris, fucking, that's where I met him. He had all these questions for me to prepare for the Bruce Pritchard, Conrad, RVD 420 episode. It was like really long. And that's probably the first time I listened to the show. Anyway, they asked him about him, because about me saying this. They said, Rob said that you said, Rob, you're acting, well, it's the shits, any comments? And he said, well, it was the shits. The thing that he said, the fucking the whole thing, whatever he called it. What was it? Pre-tape. The pre-tape was the shits. The acting was the shits. The vibe, the whole thing was the shits. And I just, thought it was fun. It's funny now. I just laughed it off, but
yeah,
not one of my favorite memories. So.
I don't know, like lighting somebody on fire. That's just like,
what's the proper way to respond to that?
Yeah, exactly. And
do better. Do it again, but just do better than you're doing now. Fuck.
And plus, you're like a wrestler. Like, there's that attitude of like, hey, you got to keep credibility and all that stuff. And like, it's like, all right, I'm on fire, but like, I'm also a wrestler and I want to be pissed or whatever. It's just like, I don't know.
Kane was awesome. Great dude. I liked tagging with him. It was a lot of fun. But during that whole time when he turned on me, took his mask off and stuff, for me, I just felt like a whipping boy, or, like food. Let me put it that way. Like, I didn't feel like they were doing much with me and Rob Van Dam's direction in the company at that point, because I wrestled him all over in steel cage matches, on the loop, everywhere, every night. I don't think my win-loss record was too good.
Yeah, that's Oh man, because it was cool. Like I do enjoy odd couple tag teams when it comes to that stuff. So like you and Kane together was cool, and like they had the what's the other one Kane did? Oh, with X Pac and stuff was neat. It's just like, but pairing guys up that don't match up with personalities and stuff like that, I always kind of think that's a pretty fun route to take sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah.
lighting on fire is another story
Yeah.
though. There's a couple interesting non-super chats we had I wanted to ask about too. Somebody, oh, this is a cool one here. Jeremy Shaw, he says, who else remembers seeing RVD live beat Regal for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 18? My brother and I marked so hard, my dad had no choice but to get in on it.
Mm.
How about that? So, what were your memories of that WrestleMania 18, being in Toronto and all that kind of aspect?
Well, I always liked going to Toronto. And so that was cool. That was the first time for me being in front of a crowd that big working. I mean, I was at WrestleMania 3 in the crowd, but so many people. It was awesome. My memory is that I didn't think that the people liked my match that I had with William Regal because I couldn't hear the people reacting.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably sounds funny because there were 73,000 people or whatever, but in a building that big, the acoustics are weird and the sound just went straight up and it didn't make it to the ring. And I was really bummed. I thought, it was going good or whatever, but I was like, man, what's with these people? Why are they so hard? And I was really disappointed in it. And I remember when I went back, I was going to ask, like, what was wrong? And then everybody was like, great match, great job. And I was like, I'm so confused.
Did anybody explain that to you later on? Because that would have threw me off too. I think, like, especially if it's like a dome, and I'm like, oh, inside that means you're going to hear a whole lot of people because it's in a dome and stuff. But no, it's like right. The sound goes up and everything like that. When did you kind of realize, like, oh, it was just how the acoustics were in that area?
I don't know. Somebody probably told me that. I can't really remember, but somebody in Gorilla must have heard me say that. I couldn't hear them. It sounded quiet. And they must have said, that's because the sound goes up. I don't know. I almost want to say it was Eddie. Like I can imagine him being in Gorilla, but it's weird because it didn't stand out for me to remember that. So I don't know. But
yeah,
somebody must have explained it right then, I guess. And then later on, I would come to expect it in big buildings when the ceiling is 4 miles up.
Right. Were there any nerves being in that kind of big environment for you, like going into like such a huge venue, being at WrestleMania and stuff like that? Or was it just like, hey, it's a crowd, I know what I'm doing, I'm confident in my abilities and all that kind of thing?
There's always nerves. There's always, for me, it's being so hard on myself. I just don't want to fuck up.
Right.
And I don't want to blow up. That's like the worst feeling when you're winded. And sometimes, like, even if you're doing a lot of cardio and you're in great condition, sometimes just the couple of days of travel that it took to get there, time change, or you could have like a cold or whatever. There's so many things that could affect your respiratory performance that night. And for me, that's always on my mind. I'm warming up because I hate being out there when I can't breathe because I feel, it sucks. It just sucks. You can't, because you need oxygen for energy to be able to move. And besides that, I remember like, when like in Japan, when I learned that, I also felt, too vulnerable. Like these guys could beat the shit out of me right now. And I'd have to say, hold on, I need a minute, or roll under the ring. That's what it felt like sometimes. So I've always, that's always been important to me, is to at least do everything I can to condition myself. And then before the match, I like to really warm up. I don't warm up as much as I used to. Like, for instance, if I used to do 10 of these kicks, 10 of these kicks, now I might do 2 or 3 of this, 2 or 3 of that. But I stretch my lungs also. That's a big thing. And really like, like using your your position of, you know, what you can to be able to expand your ribs more. If you can take some weight off of your chest with your arms and like really get it in there and then let it out like really slowly, man, that helps me so much when I'm out there trying to breathe. And I think about it like, well, you got your lungs are full of these little balloons, your ravioli, and yeah. And then you know, you think about it like if it like a balloon, if you've already blown it up a few times, it's likely going to be ready to blow up again and be stretched out, as opposed to one that's brand new and cold and maybe not quite as flexible, and it might be harder to push air into that. And so that's something that's always been important to me as well. But anyway, there's always nerves. There's always performance anxieties. For me, it's like I don't want to blow up, and you know, I want everything to go the way I want it to go, the way it went up here in my mind. I visualize, I got to go out there and like, boom, pull it off. And I always put pressure on myself. Sometimes if it's someone I'm working that for whatever reason, I just feel like really comfortable with, then the other night in Chillicothe when I wrestled Matt Riddle, this match is on the YouTube right now because I saw it. So yeah, I watched part of it, but the crowd was great. But I just remember, and I hadn't even wrestled Matt Riddle before, but I just remember walking out there, and I even asked the fan, you know, I'm high-fiving him, and I stopped, and because I'm always talking shit, you know, I stopped and I said, does everybody feel as comfortable as I do right now? I felt like oddly like serene, comfortable, like different than being at WrestleMania 18 in front of 73,000 people.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, I do have that pressure on me, but you know, it does vary some. The obvious answer is fuck yeah. There was a lot of fucking nerves for WrestleMania 18. Anytime live TV, you know, makes it more than not live TV when you do a lot of those. TV versus non-TV house shows will affect, you know, the range of nerves. But usually if you're bringing RVD in, it's going to be one of your bigger shows, unless you're just, you know, spend happy and don't care, you know, about bringing it back in.
Yeah, that's it. How was it working with William Regal? Did you like working with him?
Yeah, I always had a lot of respect for him, and considered him like more of a teacher, I think, than a peer, because he had me doing stuff that I normally wouldn't do. It seems like we worked half the match from an overhead top wrist lock, and I don't know if it was this match, but it was around that. No, this was way back in WCW.
Oh.
The night I worked him, second match in Northern Georgia, and then I left, and a snowstorm hit, and everyone else got stuck there for days. And I worked in my mind anyway. Yeah, I know I did. I worked William Regal, and I just remember like he had me in a top wrist lock, and like he was able to teach me and coach me through like a match that maybe I was looking so good, like, you know, jumping up and doing head scissors, but he'd push me off, you know, and I'd try again. Boom, maybe I would kick him or something. And this time, maybe I would take him down. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was still while we're in the top wrist lock, going up into and working like up here instead of working on the mat. It seemed like we kept going up to that. And I was like, wow, like I appreciate this guy's England perspective or whatever it is, but I always respected him, and a lot of people don't know this, but when I got hired with WCW, it was the same day as Max Payne, and William Regal had shown up to give Max a ride because they roomed together with Chris Benoit, and I ended up being William Regal's road partner for a while. Like he would rent the car, and when I was doing the house shows in WCW, like he and I rode in the car for a while. So
wow,
Yeah. I mean, that's like something that when that happens, like there's so many people you can put on that list of people that you rode with, especially if it's just two people in a car,
Yeah. So some of your notable road partners: Sabu, Booker T, William Regal, Mike Austin,
Well,
right?
that's it. That's basically it. Sean Stasiak.
Sean Stasiak too. Okay.
And yeah, and in WCW, I was only there like 5 months. I don't remember how long I rode with him. It seems like a lot, but I do also remember riding with Too Cold Scorpio and the Cole Twins, at least on one loop. And Bill Dundee was with us, and he was the agent. Scorpio's driving and twisting up a joint at the same time. Yeah. And I'm like, you smoking in front of him? And I wanted to smoke so bad, but I was afraid to smoke with the agent sitting right there, This is 93. I just turned 22, so I'm a baby. Just a couple weeks ago. And anyway, I remember Bill Dundee, Scorpio said, "Hey, I can handle it, man. I back it up in the ring." And I was like, "Do you mind if I smoke?" And Bill Dundee was like, as long as you don't, as long as you can handle it, kid, they'll get fucked up in the ring, or something like, something. Don't as long as you can handle it, and don't fuck up in the ring. And he was saying it like a warning and shit, and as I was smoking, I was going, "Oh shit, this kid's getting fucked up," and I was like, "Whatever, dude, I'm smoking. I'm gonna let him talk shit." 93, just barely 1993.
Wow. Yeah. Rob, when did you start smoking actually?
It was my 21st birthday, and we did a wrestling show in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And the weed was plentiful, and I wasn't into it, and all the other guys were so happy because they had handfuls of it. I remember on the way to the airport at the end of the tour, they were throwing it out the window of the back of the bus on the way to the airport because they just had so much and they didn't know what to do with it. But during that trip, I gave in to peer pressure from Gigolo Jimmy Backlund, also known as Jimmy Del Rey. We were all in a cabana, and he, was, "Hit it, you fucking prima donna. Hit it. It's not going to kill you. We all hit it. Fucking hit it. Would you quit being such a fucking pussy and hit it?" It was like one of those deals where I didn't want to, but I'm 20 years old. Just
right. You're trying to make a name, and like
I was there. Like I said, I turned 21 right on that trip. So that was December 18th of 91. And that was a long time ago. But anyway, that's when I started, and I didn't like it. If I hit it like twice, and I didn't like it, but shortly afterwards, I started smoking with one of the bouncers at the country bar that I was bouncing at, and pretty soon it started being, like every night I would smoke with him after work, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I smoked like 5 days in a row. I'm turning into a fucking pothead. Whoa, is this okay?" But I also wouldn't have tried it, except I had noticed that a lot of my heroes and people that seemed to be in great shape and condition seemed to enjoy smoking it and think that it wasn't that bad. I didn't know what I would learn from studying about all the reasons for prohibition and all the BS, but I did know that, and that was enough for me to be like, "Well, this guy and this guy and this guy smoke," trying to break into their world, and be cool and have a wrestling career. And I don't know, maybe I could try it, especially since they're forcing it down my throat.
Do you remember what your initial thoughts were about weed, like when you were first starting? Like when somebody was offering you something like that and peer pressuring you into it, were you like, "Oh man, it's bad, I don't know about it"? Like,
oh yeah, Sabu used to think it was funny to roll the windows up when he'd be smoking with Judge Dredd. Yeah. Me and Dango would be in the back seat, knock it off.
Hey, come on.
Yeah. But I was taught in high school that it's a dangerous, hallucinogenic, and it was a very, very troublesome problem in our society, along with LSD and PCP. That we watched these movies that scared the hell out of us, of people on PCP, and that was what was going to happen if I smoked weed. So I was definitely against it, And after at the bar, after smoking every day with Barry every night, that after a while, then I guess I started enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, I was like, when you mentioned that, like you were 22, and I was like, wait, when did he start smoking? I'm like,
21.
21. Okay, yeah, but when you were with what's his name, Bill Dundee and stuff in the car, you were 22. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
How
a year. It was about 14 months later than after I started.
How was it being a bouncer?
It was cool. I mean, that was the wrestler job, especially down there in Florida. A lot of them are male strippers. Almost all of them bounce. I was making a whopping $35 a week at the Sportatorium to wrestle, so couldn't go very far with that money. And one of the strip clubs would pay $50 a shift that some of my friends worked at. I think I got $6 an hour. It seems like maybe at the Wild West, and it was interesting because one, it was a country bar, and I had never been exposed. I was so young, like right out of the womb, basically is how I look back at it. But I had never seen cowboys in real life, you know what I mean? And so like when I saw all of them and they're all dancing to the boot scooting boogie and they all got hats on, the cowboy boots, and I'm looking at them, and in my mind, and this is probably how people see wrestlers, but in my mind, I thought that was going to be them 24/7 hours a day. And I'm like, how come I've never seen these people? Like, do they only come out at night, or are they working on the ranch in the daytime, like hustling up their cattle? And I really thought that. And it took me the longest time till I realized, like, regular, normal people with normal jobs, some of them listen to country music, and then and some of them like to put on some cowboy boots when they go out. And I didn't know that. I really thought it was like a different species of people or something, just like I used to with wrestlers before someone said I could be a wrestler. I was like, what? That can happen?
What? You can do that?
Yeah. But it was a rough bar, and so there was a lot of fights. And looking back at it, I was a bit of an asshole because we wanted an image, and we wanted the people to be scared of us, scared to start a fight in there. And we were trying to get our reputation out like the Dallas Bull, which was the #1 country bar at the time in the area. That was a bigger, busier, hotter chicks place. And they had big badass bouncers that had a reputation for beating the shit out of people. So we were going after that. Looking back at it, not cool.
Not cool. Yeah.
I might have hurt some people,
Yeah. Did you have a dress code? Was there a dress code?
Man, here's the funny thing about that. Since you bring it up, we did. I don't know what it was. I can't remember what the code was, but I stood out like a Martian in there.
Did you?
Yeah, I would wear these. It's made from the cotton, I guess, of like sweatpants kind of, but it's weightlifting wear is what it is, like a shirt and the shorts that are like down to your knees cut off, and the shirt with a logo of someone lifting or whatever, and they matched. They were the exact same color, and I'd be in there with lime, like bright ass neon green, or I wore pink. And it was dark in there, and everybody's got the hats and boots, and I must have looked like I was on fire, probably.
That's hilarious.
really was not my world. And I was, not trying to adapt. And, me, not trying to conform.
That's it. Did you ever read the book? He has a series of book, Paul Lazenby. He's like the stunt man. He was also like, I think he did a little MMA stuff, but it's When We Were Bouncers. And it has all these stories from wrestlers and MMA fighters about when they were bouncers and stuff like that. And
no, I haven't heard about that. But I mean, if anybody's really interested, one of my RVDology episodes, I tell the story about what was, they said, the second biggest fight that they'd had at Wild West. And I started it.
Oh, you really?
Yeah. Well, I made the call. But anyway, what is that? It's what was my subject of that? Damn, I can't remember. But I think maybe it has Wild West in the thumbnail, but I can't remember actually which RVDology that is. But YouTube Chris, you should know. But anyway, yeah, there's a story there that I'm not going to tell right now.
Okay. No, I see. Hey, getting back to the lungs thing, I wanted to ask you too. Do you find that is the most important part of before getting ready, whether it's you're lifting weights or working out or wrestling, like kind of getting in touch with your breathing a lot of the time? Is that always a big aspect of you getting ready for whatever you do physically?
No,
No?
just mostly with wrestling.
Okay.
I mean, or swimming, if I'm swimming underwater, but it's, I don't do that a lot, but that's actually where I learned. I used to do that when I was a kid, that breathing exercise, do it a few times, stretch the lungs out, and then get a really, really deep one to hold it and swim the length of the pool and hit the wall and swim all the way back and do it underwater. And, I guess, yeah, like I said, some of the personality of RVD the wrestler is I have those in me. A lot of that was like when I was a kid. I was a show off when I was a kid, and I was always, yeah. But so anyway, Mr. Morris taught the class that in 6th grade, taught the class that breathing exercise, and I just never forgot it. It made sense to me, and I've always done it, since then, since 6th grade, and just sometimes like I gotta like move my body or jump up and down a little bit to get even more in because expand it so that my ribs are like really maxed out. And anyway, he was telling us about people that lived high on the mountains that could hold their breath for several minutes, and it was because of their big ass lungs and their body had to develop because there's not as much oxygen up there. And that's why I do my cardio in the sauna, or one of the reasons is there's not much air in there. It's not easy to breathe. And I force my body to have to adapt to that so that if I'm in the ring, it's hopefully much more comfortable, even if I'm in a hot, humid city or state. It's still not going to be like the sauna.
Yeah. No, I because it's like something I need to focus more on. I know is breathing, like in certain aspects like that, and yeah, before working out or anything like that. I'm not a good swimmer, so I can doggy paddle. That's it. All right. Something else I wanted to kind of touch upon too. I wanted to get if you ever had this kind of feeling, because this is a different one. Like LA Knight was interviewed on Busted Open, speaking of Bully Ray, and he was asked a question from Bully Ray about if he was pushed too quickly and if there was a concern for that. So he says there's so many different ways to look at that. When he said Bully Ray's assessment that maybe Knight is sick and tired of being put on the back burner and not getting a push he deserves. He's like, maybe there was a little too far of a push, a little too fast, and that's not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but a little bit of a steady build going into a championship match or something like that. As far as going into the U.S. Championship or the Intercontinental Championship or something like that. But just jumping straight into the WWE Championship back at Crown Jewel where he faced Roman Reigns, he was like, that was a little fast, where I almost was worried.
What are we talking about? I thought you were talking about Bubba Dudley. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We're talking about LA Knight. So LA Knight, Bubba Ray Dudley asked him about
if he got pushed too soon, too fast,
if he thought he was getting put on the back burner. And then so LA Knight's starting to explain that he's was concerned about maybe he was being pushed too quickly when it comes to Crown Jewel, like because he was in the main event with Roman Reigns for the world title at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And so like, and he's relatively like started getting his popularity last year. And so he said jumping straight into the WWE Championship back at Crown Jewel was a little too fast, where he almost was worried it might make people go, they're not going to do this. They're not going to shove them down our throats like this, are they? Because there is that potential. At the same time, right now, I think I'm in a damn good spot. I don't know if I'm selling myself short so much as I'm just being cautiously optimistic. So, Rob, was there ever a concern like you were like, oh man, they're shoving me down the throats or anything like that, or you're just riding that momentum and just know that you're capable of handling a situation like that?
I'm not really sure I understand the question, but I'll just take your words literally.
Okay.
Because I was actually resending Renee the link. You know,
Okay.
my attention was divided there. But if you're asking if I ever felt like I was shoved down people's throat, you know that the schedule was monotonous, ridiculous. I felt like so busy, you know. I seemed to hate it more than everyone else, which must be because I left. Mm-hmm. And the other guys, even the ones that talked about it, that acted like they hated it as much as me, are still there. You know, no offense, Booker T. No, but some of them not. But you know, some Big Show. There was a bunch of the guys that was, oh man, I'm gonna take a break or whatever. Then I was like, oh, I wasn't just talking. I mean, I have to disconnect, and I did have to, but I felt a lot during that time. Like, why do I have to be on every single TV? Like, why do I have to be on every Monday Raw, every SmackDown Tuesday, every pay-per-view? And, you know, now it sounds like what a thing to complain about, because of course you want to be used and you want to be over and you want to, you know, work the most, make the most money and all that. Of course, it's a, you know, I got too much work. That's, you know, it's a hell of a thing to complain about. But just to answer this question, I did feel like, you know, what if I was off, you know, like one Monday or something? Like, would that kill what you're doing with RVD? Is that gonna kill my momentum? And I remember I did feel like that. I thought that the schedule was unnecessary. Mm-hmm. I thought. But I also wouldn't have thought that 3 hours of wrestling would have been a good move, because back then we were doing 2 hours, and I thought 2 hours felt like a lot, you know. So I would have been like, no, I don't think we need 3 hours. I think that's going to be way too much. And obviously it must be a successful venture because they're still doing it. So, you know, what do I know?
Yeah. No, it's crazy too, because you mentioned it too a couple of weeks ago. Shad Gaspard told you it's almost like when you're in the WWE ecoscape that you're always constantly running a race, and it's just like you're always trying to get ahead, and there's never always going to be getting ahead of basically in it. And I think that's,
it's always never ending.
Running that race, man. Running that race. Ms. Khan also gives a different perspective on that too, in regards to you. He says it's not comparable because RVD was already over as fuck. An established guy when he got pushed quickly after joining WWE. So LA Knight's kind of making his hay right now and being pushed in that element. But it's it's an interesting perspective for sure. So, but yeah, so I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Let me see.
Can I answer the question?
Sure. Let's see here what we got. I started one. Guys, if you have a super chat question, be sure to chime in and stuff. I'll try to figure out. Oh, I did want to bring this stuff up. Some reaction to your Matt Riddle match. A lot of people already watched it, apparently.
I figured it had, I can't remember, 56,000 views.
Wow. I'm going to go watch it after we're done here. Was just watching RVD and Matt Riddle. Rob is truly the best pure all-around athlete in the business. How about that?
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. And, Digital Architect.
Someday they're going to figure it out, man.
Digital Architect chimed in too. He said you and Riddle had a lot of chemistry. And LIO, yep. Did you feel that too in the ring when you were working with him? Like you guys like vibed really well, everything?
Yes. And like I said a few minutes ago, I felt like incredibly calm just walking out to that match, like it felt more like, I don't know, like it felt like there wasn't much pressure. It felt more like, and maybe it's because a lot of it might have been because it's a house show in Chillicothe, and not the whole world isn't watching. Although everything lives on YouTube, but that was probably a factor, as opposed to like live TV where there's a lot of pressure. But also just because of Matt, just being around him too, it was just like I just felt like really comfortable, and I felt more like whatever happens, and there wasn't anything like crazy going. Oh, I hope I don't fuck up, because it was just we're gonna go out there and wrestle, and what am I gonna do, So I just felt really really comfortable, and it pretty much stayed that way, being like after walking to the ring, but then also getting in the ring and having the match and stuff. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, I just saw Matt Riddle in a match a couple of weeks ago. He fought in MLW against a guy, Bad Dude Tito, and hard hitting, quick match, but it was so fun. Like it was just look legitimate. Everything was like crisp and smooth and everything like that. And like it's like I was thinking too, it's like he's got the MMA background and everything like that, so there's like legitimacy there. But like, do you find that too a lot of the times when you work with somebody that has a combat sports kind of background, whether it's MMA or something else? Do you find help a lot working with somebody like that?
I think so. Yeah, I do. Assuming that they can also pro wrestle.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of times I could be judging like some indie dude that in his mind he's like this, this big star, and that's just because he fantasizes about that watching wrestling on TV. So somebody that actually went and did it, and was in there, with MMA where you really risk a lot, and someone that has what it takes to go through something like UFC matches. There's like an automatic respect there, for me, that I feel, and it does make things easier. Yeah. I feel like I have more in common, I guess, maybe also than someone that I don't want to say doesn't feel worthy, but I mean, over the years, I'm thinking, sometimes I'm I'm meeting somebody, because somebody had enough money to bring me over to wherever across the pond, and then I'm working with somebody, that wants to have a match with me, like they are Jerry Lynn, or like they're Kane, or whatever the deal is. I've always not liked that about pro wrestling, how even the playing field has to be in order to tell a story that's not 4 seconds long. Mm-hmm. But within that world, it seems sometimes even worse when I'm talking to a kid that hasn't been anywhere and couldn't possibly interest any other promoter but himself, and he wants to do the Van Daminator on me. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah. It's just, yeah. But anyway, I do everything by my own standards now, and everything's awesome. But I'm just thinking, with my experience, throughout. Yeah, I'd definitely rather have a guy that's that has what it takes to challenge himself and has proven himself, and there's a lot of value in that. What value do I put in you just because you put me versus you?
Yeah. Exactly. Do you get that sometimes? So like legitimately, like younger guys will be like, hey, can I do your move onto you?
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes.
That's called not reading the room. Unsweet Tease, thanks for the $5. He said, wrong side of town is one of my Mine and my friend's classics. A lot of good shit in there for good and bad reasons, he says. Any good memories of making it, Rob?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of good memories, some not so good. If you look me up, I've done a lot of movies. I don't know how many. I don't know. I don't even know where you draw the line because documentaries, I can be in one of those and not even know I'm in it because I just did an interview, so
Right.
but as far as acting goes, quite a bit. And Wrong Side of Town is my only starring role thus far that I've had. And unfortunately, it was just a little before. It was when I was still green, before I really learned that I qualify to commit. And that's a lot of what life is, and when it takes experience sometimes to change your perspective. But anyway, and what I'm saying is, not super proud of the acting in it, but it's a B action movie. Had a lot of fun with it. One of my funnest memories is there's a scene where I'm being chased, right? There's a bounty on my head, and everyone's coming after me to get paid. And anyway, I'm going to run. There's a parking lot where I'm going to run down the steps, and then I'm chased. And that was awesome because I was, I don't think that they captured how much of the athleticism was real that I was doing. So, it'd be like stairs and then turn left and left again, to do 180, stairs, 180, stairs, from a high building. And when they would say action, I'd go so fast that the camera couldn't catch me. It kept telling me to slow down. But I would go 2 steps and then jump about 8. And I just had this rhythm down where I go, boom, 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 boom. And it was so fun. And every time I did it, I was ahead of the camera. But I had so much fun with that. And another one, they took me to this parking lot, and they said, we want you to run and then somehow get up to that ladder. There was a fire escape ladder hanging down this building, but it only went down to the, I guess, third or second floor. It didn't go all the way down to the ground. And so I just looked at it right away, and I could, boom, I visualized, my path. And they started talking about, we're thinking, maybe we can put some steps on the wall and hide them so you don't see them. And while he's talking, I'm trying to shut him up. And I'm like, hey, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. And they're like, oh, what? I said, out of my way. Let me show you something. And I ran and I jumped up on the dumpster that was already there, and then jumped off the dumpster and then grabbed the ladder and went boom, 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 and climbed up the ladder. And that was probably the most fun thing that I had on set. Like, I really enjoyed that stuff.
That's awesome. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can you pause this for a second? I got a delivery at the door.
Absolutely. I'll plug Get Blitz in the meantime. How's that sound?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So, hey guys, yes, as always, RVD, One of a Kind with RVD, is sponsored by Get Blitzed. Get Blitzed Lit Aid is nano-infused THC syrup and is 100% legal in all 50 states. As a matter of fact, you can get it in bundles. You can get it in several different flavors. Blue Raz, I just got Blue Raz. I'm going to try it when I'm around people because I'm a novice when it comes to THC stuff. So I want to make sure I'm around the appropriate people when I do take it. But yes, Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney, they're based out of Maryland, so they have some stuff in Maryland. But yes, if you go to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, you can get 15% off your order, 15% off. And I tell you what, it's gotten high praise from guys like Kevin Nash. He tells everybody about it. I know he gets the key lime pie a lot. But yeah, they're really cool bottles, and you get a lot. The bottle I just have, it's a huge amount, and it can take I think at least 35 doses, and especially for me, it's going to take me a lot longer than that. Let me tell you that much. But yes, go to get-blitz.com, get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, get 15% off. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that QR code right there. Give that a scan, check it out. Couldn't ask for a better product. Really cool presentation and everything like that too. But yeah, get-blitz.com, promo code RVD. Flavors like blue raspberry, pina colada, cherry, tiger's blood, and a couple other more too. So definitely check that out. One more time, it's get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, 15% off. So check it out, guys. Check it out. And as usual too, we're also sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew. You can try it for free. Use promo code RVD and you get $5. All you got to pay is $5 for shipping for BlueChew.com. Head to BlueChew.com. Use promo code RVD. And heck, you check it out. Chew it and do it, baby. BlueChew.com. All right. Hey, so there we go.
It's good. Blue Chew is good because, you never know when you're in a threesome and you can't keep it up after the first 30, 45 minutes.
Right. So then there you go. See? That's how it goes there. All right. We had some good other questions here too.
My delivery. This is part of it. And so.
Ooh, all right. What is it? What's the name of it?
I don't know. I don't even care.
You don't care? It just doesn't matter. Yeah.
No.
Jay Furcat asks if you have any good Maven stories. YouTube sensation Maven now.
Man, I wish I did. He was around when I first came into WWE in 2001. Mm-hmm. And he seemed to be like the kind of guy that everyone got along with, a good sport, joked around a lot with everybody. The only thing I remember is that he was instrumental in turning me on to Nair. It was him and Stevie Richards. Stevie was the first one, and then Maven backed them up because I was shaving. That was something I just decided to do. I was curious about shaving because I was reading. You can, your muscles will show more, whatever. And I was hairy in ECW. I always had hair, and so coming to WWE, I thought, well, that'd be a good time to switch it. I can always remember it by that timeline. Like I was hairy till I went to WWE. Started shaving. I sucked at it. Took forever, and I would gaff. I would have big white, big chunks missing out of my body with white flesh, where the blood doesn't even come for a few seconds because it's so deep that your body can't believe you just did that.
Right.
And leaving patches everywhere. And Stevie was talking to me about Nair, about how he uses that and how it's so easy. And I just remember Maven being around during that time, and saying, telling me, oh yeah, don't, you can't put it in a certain spots or it'll burn, or whatever his input was. And I remember Kane during that time when I was just new at Nairing, saying something, just trying to make a joke or whatever. When he came coming into, I was in the shower like in the daytime Nairing, and he was like, is that good that my partner's rubbing cream all over his body? And he was just, trying to make a joke. And that's it. Those three guys, I remember, like, I'm going to always associate them with me starting to Nair.
Could call the faction like the Nair gang.
In about 2001, if me and Kane were partners, though, huh? That was like 3, but whatever, however it worked out.
However it worked out there.
Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting question. This might be so he's got a 2-parter here. Memphis Mark asks, any good stories about the Tennessee territory? And then he adds, and if you were suggesting something natural for Parkinson's, what would it be, weed-wise, smoking?
Well, weed-wise, so they're just asking if I would recommend a particular strain, and I think, just got to see. No, I wouldn't recommend a certain strain. Although I would just like, anything like that, I would say you're going to want a strong indica maybe OG Kush if you really don't have anywhere to start, and for something like that. And I have a very good friend who has Parkinson's who tells me that he gets amazing benefits from weed, which I've turned him on to, and I'm glad I did. And starting with the CBD, and then with full-on marijuana, and said, you might not need the THC. The CBD might, be all you need, and he prefers the THC, and something to do with it, relaxing the temptation to shake, I guess, a little bit, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. All right, good to know. Do you have any good stories about Tennessee, the Tennessee territory, Memphis?
Yeah, actually, that was for me the first time that I got to go on the road and be in a territory where we're in the same town weekly over and over again in several towns. So they had a loop back then. And for me, this is 91. And I'm 20 years old, not even old enough to drink yet. So excited to be on the road. And it was like, Saturday morning, you did TV at the Memphis TV station, Channel 5, I believe it is. And then Saturday night, it was in Nashville at the fairgrounds. And then Sunday would be a spot show. They were doing Jonesboro, Arkansas up until when I got there. For some reason, like that week. I did do Jonesboro, Arkansas. They were doing the Dallas run to do ESPN, and they just lost that or stopped doing it. Global Wrestling took over, where we first saw Jerry Lynn and X-Pac.
Yeah.
Marcus Bagwell. Yeah, that way back then. Anyway, Monday night would be Memphis. Tuesday night would be Louisville. Wednesday night would be Evansville, Indiana. And it was cool because up till that point, I was a brand new guy everywhere I'd been. I had introduced myself. Nobody knew who I was. And now I got to see what it's like to come back to a town that's already seen me wrestle, already knows who I am. And man, that was so cool because I had a great match last time. I'm going to have another great match. And obviously that's how you build your star powers, by continuing to build that momentum and get the fans built up behind you. So that was awesome. I learned to do merchandise there. I learned that I could, if I sold pictures, I could pretty much double my payoff. And there was a guy that would take pictures of you at the arena, and then next week when you come back, he would have proofs to show you, and you would pick out, I like that one and that one. And then the next week, he would have those pictures for you, which you could buy from him. Maybe he charged $1 and we could sell them for $5. Mm-hmm. I think, and they were like 3x5s. And, if I was getting paid $25, I could sell 5 pictures, and now I just doubled my payday. And I was the only one that could do that out of our group because I was a baby face and the heels weren't allowed to sell. I also wasn't allowed to associate with the heels, and that was something that Jerry Jarrett yelled at me for. And I knew about kayfabe because, of course, Sheik is super old school, but here we are, the only people that know each other, green as grass, from Michigan, and we're sharing a car together. So we did end up exposing the business a bit, which wasn't cool. We'd get seen sometimes at restaurants, and people would, what are you doing with those assholes, man? And, well, the only ride I could get, fuck them, man. I'll give you a ride.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, that's where I met Chris Candido and Tammy. My first Saturday night in Nashville, we had a match against each other, mm-hmm. and they thought it would be entertaining, the boys, like Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, and Tom Pritchard. Was he there? Dr. Tom Pritchard was there. And whoever was in charge. There's Eric Embry, Bill Dundee, Danny Davis, those guys. And they thought it would be funny to because I was so young and green and talking a big game, I guess, put me and Candido in there and have us go the whole time limit.
Whoa.
Yeah. They thought it would be funny and they'd be laughing and it would suck and stink up the place. That the term for that they used to use in the business was Broadway. And Sabu always thinks it's hilarious to tell the story that they told me I was going Broadway, and he says, "Rob, well, we thought he was. That meant they was making it big time and going to New York City, or Broadway." And anyway, we had a great match.
That's awesome.
According to said veteran wrestlers it was a sellout at the Curtain, and Tony Anthony and Pritchard, and they told me afterwards that you guys were like, wow, you guys are doing all these high spots and stuff, and especially they thought it would suck because we couldn't get together before the match. The heels and the faces were on opposite sides of this big ass building they used for the flea market, and so at best you might get a message across, or maybe run outside and try and meet without fans seeing you. Good luck. But it was something where we were pretty much for a lot of it just meeting in the ring and working, and so there's one of my memories from the Tennessee territories.
That's a great one, man. And two, it's kind of fitting because today would have been Chris Candido's 52nd birthday. So
I love synchronicity.
How about that?
Awesome.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, pretty awesome. Also pretty awesome. Seth gave a great faction name for the the Nair people, the ne'er-do-wells. So there we go.
Okay. I thought you were talking about RV Bro.
No, not RV Bro. That's you gotta make that happen, I think. Seth also did a $2 one, so thanks, Seth. He says, "Who else can do a gorilla press moonsault combo?" Who else? Have you seen anybody else do that? A gorilla press moonsault combo, Rob?
I don't know if I have or not. If I have, then I think it was either Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay, which it would be in there with someone, I guess, smaller than him. But I don't really know if I've seen them, one or both of them, do the moonsault into the front handspring, into the like into the corner, and I'm not sure if they did the gorilla press leading into it or not.
Yeah. No, that's always a cool spot. And we were talking last week
about I did it in Black Mask too, by the way.
Did you? Yeah,
because there was a fight scene, and I leg swept the guy, and I flipped back. No, I didn't do gorilla press, and my leg swept him, and he went down. But I did the standing moonsault on him. Boom, front handspring flip onto my feet. Fight the next guy because it was a group fight situation, and the fight coordinator, was open to ideas and stuff. So that's one thing that I got in. Just a little trivial pursuit information for you. And I had to do it with a bunch of wardrobe, wearing a cape, this ridiculous big mushroom head that was glued to my head that kept going off every time we would shoot it. And that was very challenging, but I thought, hey man, I think that's why I got the job. I want to show what I got.
Heck yeah. DeMarl says Liger used to do it. Justin Thunder Liger used to do it. So.
Oh, the whole the gorilla press and
the gorilla press, the moonsault thing. Have
you saw him before I did it? I really don't remember.
Yeah,
I made up that or saw someone do it. I don't know.
Have you happened to catch any of Ospreay's work on the mic these past couple weeks on Dynamite? He's been really good. Like. He's really obviously I knew he was so talented in the ring and stuff like that, but he's been really good on the mic and stuff like that. It's almost like some classic kind of wrestling promos in a lot of ways in his own.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty neat, man. Pretty neat. Well, Rob, I covered all the notes that we had outside of what we might have had for our guest. Do you want to?
Yeah, he flaked on us.
That's all right. Yeah. So, do you have any? Do you have an RVDology or anything you want to do or?
Well, I guess maybe I could try to chat a little bit. Don't really have anything prepared, but I'm trying to think of something we could leave the people with. And I made I use this just as a point recently, but I was talking about something else. But now I just want to elaborate on saying that as long as you're doing your best, you should. I think you deserve giving yourself a break. We talked about that because somebody asked, "How do you make yourself do things when you don't have to?"
Mhm.
And that guy, his question is stuck with me because that's a struggle I can relate to. But we attacked that. We talked about how priorities change. A lot of times they change just because of where you're at, because of when it is, whatever. Sometimes like right now, it's more important that I do this or this, but later on or tomorrow or whatever, something else might be more important, or it might be a pressing issue or in front of me, or have to do this before I can do that, whatever. But it's okay that the stuff changes all that time. I always go with the flow and think that things will work themselves out, happen when they're supposed to. That's how I find balance. But there are things that I sometimes wish I would put more time and energy into, and wish that they would be on my front plate and more important than other things. But you know what? If they're not, they're not. And that's where I find my inner peace, which could be taken from other people as excuses. Hey, if working on myself in that area was more important, then I would do it. Um, you, um, what we said was, as long as you're doing your best, then bro, that's all you can do. And that doesn't mean giving everything that you do 100%. You don't have to be that interested in everything. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, you could be asked to help somebody carry something. You don't have to do your very absolute best, and like you're going for a job, and watch out, everybody, watch out, I got a parcel coming through. For an example,
Yeah.
if I dabble in things, and a lot of the things I dabble in don't end up being winners, and because of that, you could never say that I've got the Midas touch. You can never say that everything I touch, just turns to gold, and that my name has like a unconditional value, whatever I attach it to. That's not true. That's not true. It has some value prospectively, but a lot of things I'm not afraid to dabble in. Like I've said before, I'm a sucker for a good idea. But I try not to get L's, and I try to get all W's. I feel like I am juggling like so much, and the point that I'm trying to make is everybody does. Everyone's busy with a lot of things, and whether it's professional or whether it's watching the kids, and you got to pick up this one after school, and the dog's got to go to the vet. It could be like just family stuff, household stuff. Could be anything. But we all have a lot that we're doing, and you got to take it in its totality to say, you know what, I'm considering all of that. I think I'm doing the best that I could to do all that and still have time for this, have time for them, or or still have time for whatever. You got to look at it like if you're doing your best, you just can't do any better, and that works with everything. And it's so easy to accept that and then just be able to blow things off. You're a kid, and other kids want to laugh at you. Ha ha, you got really big ears, we're going to call you Dumbo. You know what? Ha ha, that's hilarious. Can you do anything about it? No. So why even let it bother you? Are you gonna? What are you? You gonna hide? You gonna wear a hat, hide your ear if you be feeling insecure? You know what? You're doing the best that you can. That's you. If they can't handle it, fuck them. That's what I'm talking about, and that's like you can use it for little things like there's nothing more I can do about that. I'll be honest with you. I have some friends, really distant friends, some that I don't even like that much or whatever, that I have um, thought before that they were really depressed. And I felt like, I feel like I did everything I could to tell them to turn around, snap out of it, whatever. And if they don't, and something happens, I'm not going to say, oh, I could have done more, should have done more, because given everything that's going on and how much and where they are in my life and all this, I did the best I could. That is a great feeling. It's a rewarding feeling. That's a cold kind of example, I guess, to use, but I'm just trying to cut through my babbling and use examples that maybe people can understand. Overall, if I put a lot more into doing this, it might throw me off balance. It might, make me a lot more stressed, and then it's not worth it. Guess what? Big picture, if you find a way that you think overall you could do better, then cool, work towards it. And that's called growth. And we're all doing it. Hopefully, I'm growing all the time. And so that is finding a way of actually being better, living better by my own standards. So I give you permission to look at how you're doing with everything, with problems, with rewards, with family, with business, with enemies, with love, with hate, just overall, look at it. And if you're like, man, you're doing what you can, congratulations, good on you, keep doing it. What more could someone ask?
That's it, man. That's a great one. And like I think too, always kind of be cognizant of when you're being negative on yourself too as a person, if that's when it's going on. Like thinking big picture and thinking like doing your best you can, but and thinking of all the responsibilities you might have. Don't be like, oh, I'm such a lazy asshole, or I'm not doing this right, or I should be doing this a little bit better, or putting more focus on that. Try to think in the positive aspects of how you've been doing and what you've been doing with it too. I think that kind of helps you get that thing going, and realizing that you are putting some effort into it and stuff like that ultimately.
So good job. I give you a pat on your back.
Yeah, all right. And you said somebody already said Wyant. He says, I kind of needed that to hear that one this time.
Awesome.
So, good to
That's
hear.
I love hearing that. That's an energy lifter. That's what increases my spiritual frequency. So I appreciate that. That's why I'm doing it. Bro, the coloring contest has really taken off for the
Is it nice? Heck yeah.
so many submissions already. I'm starting to think, wow, it goes on till 420. Maybe that's too long, because I don't know how many we'll get, and I don't know. Like some people, someone said, hey, can you let me know? Someone let me know that you got it when they submitted it, and I'm like, I don't know if we have that. I got to talk to my webmaster. But it sounds like a good idea. I'd want to know also.
Mhm.
I want to know if it at least got my entry into the contest. Otherwise, I got no chance. So, but I don't. But there's already like so many, and it's only been a week.
A week.
Started this, yeah.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, guys. So if you are interested, it's RVD Wrestling Gear Coloring Contest. Download the images, go to robvandam.com, color them, send your finished artwork to rvdebay@gmail.com. Due by April 20th. Joe Holland, RVD's airbrush artist, will help us select the winner, airbrush the actual real life outfit, and Rob will wear it on TV. A really, really cool idea. And it's already looks like a neat design, just uncolored too. So you guys fill in the blanks there.
Oh, the ones I've seen look really cool too. Like I'm looking forward to seeing that actually painted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, you'll have to send me some. I want to take a look at some of them and see what they look like too. That'd be awesome. But yeah, guys. So yes, go to the email again is rvdebay@gmail.com and submit it. Go to robvandam.com. You can download the template there and color away, guys. So make it happen. Cool, very cool idea. So
I bet Yeah, I'm just reading. Someone said Scott Steiner might have done the gorilla press into a moonsault. I could see that. I don't know.
A
Yeah,
young one, he might have done it, or they said he would at least been capable of it. I think
for sure. That man, he would drop kick someone and do a backflip off of that. You know, he
Yeah,
was, and it was the first one that any of us, at least that didn't watch international wrestling, ever saw the Hurricane Rana.
Hurricane
It
Rana.
was,
Yeah, and I always called it the Frankensteiner at first because I never heard the Hurricane Rana.
yeah, I still do. Why? Sometimes the Frankenstoner because it's funner.
That's great. Hey,
I guess I should do that and call it the Frankenstoner. You know.
yeah, see, that'd be that would be a good one.
Yeah, I might have to put. I got to put a little twist on it. If
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I'm thinking something that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, if someone could think of a way to do it different, it'd be this guy.
That's it, man. Seth chimed in one more time. He said, "Man, I pushed myself so hard. I needed this RVDology."
Dude, that's awesome. And here I was thinking, do I want to do one or not? And I'm glad I made the right choice.
You're already
I
making.
knew I was plugged in to the universe when we got the synchronicity, because what are chances that I'm gonna bring up Chris Candido and then bam, I had no idea that was that was his birthday. So that's awesome. I love that. I love life. I love the universe.
It's a great time, man. It's a great time. WrestleMania weekend will be a lot of fun, guys. If you're in Philly, be sure to go say hi to Rob. Check out all the events. Go to robvandam.com. Take a look there. If you guys like what you're seeing, go to rvdtv.com. Also go to Rob's YouTube channel. If you like to listen, go to Spotify, go to iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review for a 5-star Frog Splash. Help us out. Follow Rob on social media at The Real RVD. You can follow me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo. And guys, what a fun episode, Rob. This was a good coverage. I had a good time, and we all learned a lot.
Yeah. This weekend I am in Springfield, Massachusetts. A lot of people, I guess, if not everybody, I guess we'll hear this afterwards, but I'm still confused about that. You know that.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, the 23rd, I'm in Massachusetts, in Springfield at a big convention. I'll see a lot of my friends there.
Heck yeah. I see on the poster, there's Matt Riddle, there's Bischoff, there's Enzo Amore, Sabu will be there, Elias too, I also see. And so, yeah, check that out if you guys hear this beforehand, which you can hear earlier on Premier Streaming Network.
And what about the people that are with us right now? Don't they care?
Right now, you guys are here.
Yes. So valid info. See you in Springfield, Massachusetts.
All right, guys. And heck, we'll see you next week here on One of a Kind with RVD.
Cool. Thanks, Tom.